What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of YPX After Hours, our season finale episode. Here we are.
The hottest show.
Yes,
yes,
in North Texas. I'm chasing J Miles, your host, your co-host, 2020 YPN chair, and I have my amazing co-host next to me. What's up, Tommy?
Far too kind. How you doing, Chasten?
I'm doing very well. I've missed everybody. I was out last week, but I did get a chance to see everything, and man, I'm so happy to be back now. I'm actually in my bedroom, and I started doing this thing, Tommy, where I'm not sure if you noticed it because it was just like a little fun project for me where I've been trying to like change the scene where I am, and I'm trying to see if nobody notices. So I was like, season finale. Why not take it to the bedroom? So I did my full on setup here. So
that's creative. That's creative. You got the juices flowing. When do you come up with your best ideas, Chasten?
At like 3, 4 in the morning. Yeah.
That's how it happens. So well, for me, it's random, but I feel like I end up having to execute those ideas like after everyone's asleep, when the phone is not ringing, and I binge on ideas. I think a lot of people are the best creative ones in this world kind of have that sort of feeling, right? Work best in the dark, so to speak.
Yeah, especially when I wake up in the middle of the night, and then I'll start watching YouTube videos, and then I start coming up with different ideas, and then I get so excited. I'm like, let me fall asleep so I can lock them in. And so I'll try to force myself to go to sleep, but I don't do much work in the middle of the night, but I do a lot of soaking in just information and ideas.
I need more discipline to make sure that's when I'm working on Canva. Like I want all my Canva, anything creative, doing templates, campaign stuff like that. That needs to be like after hours for me. Yeah. So that way I'm spending my daytimes on the phone and talking to people. But sometimes I get a creative hair and I don't want to lose it. And it's like the middle of the day and I find myself, here I am on Canva for an hour and a half. And I was like, well, that wasn't time well spent.
Yeah.
Probably should have been talking to someone.
I get you. Well, look, hey, everyone, we have an amazing show this evening, and we have some really good people coming on, and one of our guests has brought gifts with them. So you all have a chance to receive one of their free gifts, and all you have to do is comment in the chat box. So you can ask us a question, you can just comment something. The first 20 people will receive this gift from our special guest this evening. So definitely take a moment, leave a comment below. Let us know how your week was, how you're feeling, where you're watching this from, just anything. Ask us a question, whatever you want. Leave us a comment and you can be entered to win one of those prizes this evening.
Tom, yeah, go. So,
since this is the season finale, I figured we could share maybe just one of our favorite moments or favorite guest episodes from this whole season, and everyone else can too in the chat box. But I want to know, like, what was your favorite moment all season?
You took the words out of my mouth. I was like, let's rehash what just happened.
Yeah.
Like, did that just happen? Sort of thing is that's the feeling that I got in my gut right now. Did that just happen? Did we do this successfully? We talked to a lot of people. What stands out to me the most, I would have to say, is the it's either I like the Matt Bowman conversation was great. For all of you that missed it, we had on the executive VP of the Dallas Stars, and he dropped some good nuggets for us. Dustin in the comment section says the episode that shall not be named.
I remember that.
It was well, how you'll remember that one for the rest of your life. It was horrific, wasn't it?
It was. Luckily, I'm an entrepreneur and I work for myself, because that episode, I probably would have been out of a job. But
we got to say this about your 2021 YPN chairman. She is a ride or die, because Skylar McKinley she dished out some questions, and when one of our guests that shall remain nameless did not take the bait and just pretty much ran in a different direction with the question. Very uncomfortable dialogue took place, and Skylar kept her professionalism and kept trying to redirect. You all missed it. I'll just put it that way. Yes, Skylar for Prez for sure. It was. I'll put it this way. It was must-see TV. You would not believe it if you did not see it. I watched it. I was not hosting that day, and this was the impression.
Yeah.
And me looking at my wife like,
cut it. Yeah.
Yes, that's what was taking place. So what about you, Chasten?
You know, I have a few that are just in the top. I mean, I really, really appreciated the Hollywood Hypnotist. I really appreciated the show with Jimmy Nelson.
About to say, Coach Jimmy.
Yeah, I got a lot from the show, the SEO show. That was awesome, and I quickly got to work on some things there, because that's just something that's passionate to me. This past week, like that, I learned some stuff on that one. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We had Natalie Woods on. We had Natalie Woods from Hot on Homes People. I mean, you know, we're just doing it big. You know, typical big boy stuff. Nothing big.
Yeah, and I heard through the grapevine that we got renewed for another season next year.
we didn't get canceled.
No, so we'll be back next summer after this one.
We did not get canceled.
There may be new hosts. There may be some old favorites. Who knows? But
you got to watch to find out.
Yeah. But who do we have today, though? We have a few people. Oh, it's on the screen right there.
John Israel
Rodriguez coming up next, and then we have John Israel. Mr. Thank You. I'm very excited for that one too. I've heard great things, and so super stoked for that.
I watched a TED Talk video earlier. It was it was something else. He was a TED Talk on really just outside the box thinking for us, and you know, us as marketers, that's super important, you know, to separate ourselves from the rest. You know, if we're going to continue to be in that upper echelon, that top producing, that, you know, pushing the envelope sort of thing. He'll be a good guest. Do we have Chelsea Dustin? For those of you that don't know, we're just going to continue to thank the people that are helping to make this happen. There she is.
Hi.
What's up?
He's like, there she is. I don't know what that means.
We were introducing you before you. Could you hear us before you jumped on?
Oh, I've been listening to all the goods. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was just, as you popped up on the screen, it seemed proper. There she is.
Oh, okay.
Chelsea Banks Rodriguez. Cutco Closing Gifts.
I want to be introduced that way from now on. There she is. I'm like, if you don't do what Wooten did, then you're totally like subpar.
So funny. How you doing?
Oh, you know, just pandemic schmandemic. We're just tucking, ducking, rolling, keeping our head down, working hard. Doing great.
2020 has been I'm just gonna jump off with one lightning round question before we get to all the rest of them. Finish this sentence. 2020 is
got her panties in a wad. As That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, is this an adult friendly show? Should I say woke up on the up on the wrong side of the bed? No, that's not as good. No.
At this point, anything goes on this show.
Okay.
Kind of based upon one interview that we hosted earlier this season. Yeah, the viewers have heard a lot. We'll put it that way.
That's awesome.
So,
and we've mixed cocktails on this show, so it's like, what other MetroTex show does that?
Mm-hmm.
So Chelsea,
water people. I'm just kidding. This is water.
What's good?
What's good? A lot of things. Yeah, let's talk about what's positive and what's good. My panties aren't in a wad. That's
okay.
Good.
That's good to know. This is excellent information. You all heard it here first. Chelsea Rodriguez.
I was gonna
so tell us what's Cutco closing gifts?
Cutco closing gifts. It's really simple. It's in the name. Most people have heard of Cutco knives. They've been around for 71 years. We're actually the #1 rated closing gift company in North America. That's mainly because we created a program for real estate professionals where we actually take Cutco that's American made, forever guaranteed, and we engrave it. So I don't know if you can see that, but we actually engrave it. See that engraving? So shiny. Yeah. Well, we actually engrave agents, their logos, their names, their phone numbers right there on the blade themselves. And it becomes a long-term branded gift in the home with basically realtors doing the biggest transaction of any human being's life. It basically is a gift that just keeps on giving. And frankly, Cutco closing gifts, I mean, now more than ever, it just makes sense. I don't know about you guys, but I've been at home a lot cooking my brains out. So, Cutco closing gifts is just a gifting program and full like liaison service for realtors so they don't have to think about gifting last minute.
So I've heard through the grapevine, and Cutco's been around the associations, MetroTex, CCAR for a long time, but you guys work with a pretty big pool of agents, right? North of 1,500, I hear.
Yeah. So, that's actually just business. So we actually have multiple representatives around the nation, but we won't talk about them. We'll talk about what we do here at YPN in Dallas-Fort Worth. So we actually have had our small business now for about 11 years. Moved here to the Metroplex in 2014, and we've grown upwards of about 1,500 past clients that reuse us over and over and over again, because nobody really wants to go back to the gift card or have to go stand in line at Total Wines and Liquors once they realize how easy it is to give our gifts. So, yeah.
How easy is it? I'm curious.
What's the question?
Like, how easy is it?
It's very easy. So literally agents just call me. I immediately take them to happy hour. We sign on the dotted line and we become best friends forever.
Oh, yeah.
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Okay.
I give people 2 business cards, one for happy hour and one for closing gifts. It works. Yeah. That's real estate, right? No, it's really easy, actually. The biggest issue that a lot of realtors run into with closing gifts is just the simple fact that they're scrambling last minute, looking for the perfect gift for the perfect client, trying to look like they showed up prepared at the closing table. And I actually consult with agents and teach them to not do that anymore. Show up prepared. You basically call me and we have you a small supply of gifts at any given time. And if you run low, you can easily click that reorder button and I come a running. So super easy.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So what are some of like the, we all have our favorite go-tos on closing gifts or what have you. You guys got any good or bad closing gift stories? What's your go-to, Chasten?
Well, I'm not a big closing gift kind of person, to be honest with you. No,
we'll change that eventually.
Well, so what I started doing was I started doing like gift programs and like gifting programs. And so we have a lot of client appreciation events and like client appreciation happy hours and events for the family. And then we do like mailing every other month will like mail out gifts. And so I don't know, because I was just feeling defeated every time I would give somebody like a bottle of liquor at closing, and I was like, here you go. And I just didn't feel good about it. So we kind of
drink it all in one night.
Chasten brings up a really good point. That's one of the biggest issues that realtors run into. It's not just finding the perfect gift and looking last minute. It's that the majority of gifts that are marketed to real estate agents are consumable. They're eaten, they're drank, they're spent, and then they don't think about the real estate agent that worked with them on their transaction this time next month or this time next year. And so I think you asked, what's a story? I actually had an agent in my old territory in Memphis before I relocated here to Dallas-Fort Worth who gave an $80 gift with us. And she gave it for 1 year consistently. She gave out 10 to 15 gifts to all of her closings. Then I never heard from her again. I get a phone call after I'm living here in Dallas, and I was like, wow, why is Patricia calling? I haven't heard from her in forever. I thought she had retired her license. That was not the case. She says, honestly, I stopped giving your gifts because I just didn't understand the point. I didn't think it was working. I just stopped and fell off the radar. And she says, but a buyer that I sold a house to years ago called me and said that another buyer was in her neighborhood and saw my sign in the yard, and the phone number wasn't legible on the sign because of weather and storms. Said buyer ran in the house, grabbed a Cutco knife, and ran through the yard and scared the mess out of the next future sale. And literally $7,500 commission check later, she's been a gold client of mine ever since. She said, what if I had been giving everyone one of these? That's the point. They never throw it away. It doesn't get eaten. It doesn't get drank. It doesn't get spent. I love wine. I love Jesus, but I drink a little. But at the end of the day, they drink it and they don't remember Chasten.
Yeah.
So this number, your phone number is right there in all of your clients' kitchens, not just now, but forever.
So that's what I was going to say. Like kitchen-based gifts, you guys are obviously a proponent of this.
Oh, 100%. And actually the reason, Tommy, that we focus on kitchen products, yes, Cutco is a kitchen company, but the reason this program just makes sense is think about the home that you do a final walkthrough. What's the room that you have to work the hardest to sell?
Yeah, it's likely the kitchen.
Where do most of your families hang out in the home?
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's the kitchen. Gentlemen, I hate to tell you this, but it's not the bathroom. They hang out in the kitchen. They hang out in the kitchen. That's where people spend their time. And because that's where they spend their time, we focus on kitchen products. We have knives. We have these awesome like thermos wine bottles that keep wine, chilled wine cold for 24 hours, hot stuff like tea and coffee hot for 12 hours. And then we also have cutting boards, kitchen knives, pizza cutters. I've had agents give pizza cutters out to all of their referrals and their closings with an engraving that said, "Your referrals keep us rolling."
Love it.
Isn't that cool? Like, so we'll customize it. We'll pull any product. If you want us to slap your name on it, we'll make it happen.
And Chelsea, I love those little sayings like that. So the gift that we're sending out or like one of the little treats that we're sending out in August are the little Grill Mates barbecue packets. And the little saying for it says, "You're seasoned real estate professionals for your referrals," or something like that.
Oh, that's cute.
I love the little cute stuff. Like, I mean, it's just, it just gets me all bubbly.
It's the thought that counts, but it's an actual tangible product that doesn't get thrown away.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. A little birdie just flew by my window.
Oh, nice.
At least it didn't fly into the window.
That's good.
No, it brought a little note. Wait a minute. Is it your birthday?
Oh my gosh. You're not a literal bird. You're saying like a metaphor.
This guy.
Is it your birthday?
My birthday is actually Sunday, but funny enough, I forgot to tell my husband that I was doing this tonight until yesterday. And so I'm actually going to a birthday dinner with all of my friends in Dallas tonight. And it's supposed to be a surprise, and now it's no longer a surprise because I forgot to tell him about this. It's my birthday week. So.
Well, everyone heard it here first. Here we go.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy early birthday. Thank you.
I'm 23 forever.
I love it.
There you go. So you got some any specials? What are you running right now?
Oh, well, it's actually cool that you asked. I'm glad you asked that. We actually do an annual end of summer awesome August deal. And I always annually, I've done it for the last 5 or 6 years now in Dallas. My regulars know to expect it, but I'll text it out. I'll email it out to everyone that's in my database. And it's awesome August savings. I basically do some discounts and deals that I don't normally do. It goes out the first week of August. It'll be going out next Tuesday. Final day will be August 7th. So it's usually just the first 4 or 5 days of August. So I'll be sending that out if anybody would like information on that and what our specials are going to be to stock you up with gifts for the holidays or for the fall. Then I would just really ask that people would just text me. You can text my cell. Is it okay if I drop my number on here?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's kind of weird that I say that. Maybe my husband's not
Well,
listening.
it's cool. You could also you can do that and then type it into the comment section as well.
Okay, cool. I'm actually taking this call on my phone.
Okay.
I'm in the market for a new MacBook. Dropped it, shattered. Unlike Cutco, it's not forever guaranteed. So I'm doing this on my phone. Chasten, would you actually post my number for me?
Yeah, we have some people behind the scenes, our producers.
Cool, that'd be great.
If you want to say it out loud, we'll get it in.
I'll say it. So if you want any more information on our gifting programs, if you'd like pricing, or if you'd like to know what our specials are for the Awesome August Savings event, we start next week. I will follow up next week. Just text me your first and last name and your email address. So text me your first and last name and your email address to my cell number at 205-239-1634. So that's 205-239-1634. Just be sure to text me your first and last name and your email address, or I won't know who's texting me. But if you could just text me your first and last name and your email, that way I'll know who it is, and I'll get you some info next week.
Did you get that alert?
I actually did. It just popped up. Tommy Wooten. Who's that guy?
Hey, Tommy. Real
Which
quick.
side of the screen am I on for you?
You're on the right side.
Oh, okay.
Chasen's on the left.
What's up,
Tommy,
Chasen?
Can we haze her right quick?
Oh no.
Very quick. We got to be I
didn't sign up for this, but let's do it.
Oh no, we're here now.
All right, so
she can get to her birthday dinner.
Yeah, this is a YPX After Hours tradition now. All right, so we got a little lightning round. You answer with the first word or phrase that comes to mind. You ready?
I was born ready.
All right.
I love it.
Favorite city in the U.S. besides the one that you live in or grew up in?
Oh, darn it. Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, sweet. Okay. You ski?
No, I skied for 18 years. I felt like I looked lame, so I decided to learn to snowboard. I got real close to some powder and real close to Jesus all in the same day.
Oh, sweet. All right. Last song you downloaded or listened to on purpose?
I've never downloaded a song in my life. I'm not a music person.
That is very interesting.
You said say the first thing. I'm not a music person. My husband could literally back that up. I've never downloaded a song.
Wow.
Wow. I'm a little scared.
He's like, what? They're like dumbfounded.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. Moving right along. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Favorite holiday? Christmas. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
17.
Okay.
Last one. Kanye West is, finish the sentence.
One of my least favorite celebrities.
She's been the realist for that question. She's been the realist for that question.
Yeah.
You know, someone asked me Swiftie or Kanye the other day, and I remember watching that awards, whatever it was, VMAs, when that happened. And I've been a Swiftie pretty much my whole life. So girls got to stick together.
Yeah, he wasn't right for that.
Ever since then, you know, first impressions are everything. I did not even know who Kanye was till he did that. And yeah, I was like, not about it.
That was I can't remember if that was the first or the second time that he went AWOL, but When was Hurricane Katrina? Was that before or after he did that?
That was like 05.
Okay.
05.
So the first time that he showed that he may be a little off the rocker a little bit was when he was on. It was a Hurricane Katrina. It was like they were fundraising, and it was he and Mike Myers. We all remember Mike Myers, or no?
I do.
Shrek, right?
Yeah.
And he was a Saturday Night Live mastermind for years, and that, like these two do not belong in the same room. They have nothing to do with each other. They're two different worlds. And he just blasts off with George Bush doesn't care about black people. And like normally, if you're a good co-host or whatever, like Chasen, I would tell you that I'm like I got something to get off my chest before we go live, right? Mike Myers' face was.
He was like, I don't know how to pivot from this.
How do you? Yeah, no, we are live. We're live right now.
Yeah.
And so Kanye be special.
Yeah. He's an amazing artist. I'll give him that. He's very talented and he is brilliant. I'll back him up on that one. He is brilliant and he's an amazing artist. But I'm still Swiftie, man, all day, every day. Hey, could I add one more thing before y'all transition into John?
Yeah.
I actually don't know if everyone listening knows this or not, but John has a huge background. He's actually he got his start from Cutco. And so I've actually known John probably longer than any of you on this call. I've known him my entire career, about 11 years. So I just want to throw him some props.
Wow.
Who you guys have coming on today. I just want to build this up a little bit if it's not been built up already, which I know it has. But John,
when was the last time you talked to him?
Today.
You talked to him today? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He actually does a lot of coaching and stuff. He's been working with my husband and a lot of our local team. He's a great Cutco guy.
Dustin, bring John on.
Well, I'll say it with him on so he can hear me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's listening.
Oh, he's listening. Look at him smiling. Are you blushing?
Look,
I'm hanging out. Keep it going.
Okay.
This is the first right here.
He's like, stop. No, keep going. Keep going. No, I just want to do a shameless plug. I actually, John, I still have only a couple of these left. I bought a box from you about a year ago, and I'd been giving them out to all of my favorite clients and just telling them to read it. And those of you listening, you're going to get such a treat today. John, I want to pay you a compliment, and I just want to say that outside of just the world of selling knives and in the world of human beings, you are one of the most authentic, just good human beings. And I want to praise you for that. And everything in this book backs that up. So everybody's in for a treat. I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm going to throw it out there since we're live.
Of course.
Not only are we doing awesome August specials, but anyone that texts me to that cell number we put in the chat box, I'll throw it out there again, 205-239-1634. Text me your first and last name and your email. I'm actually going to buy a copy of John's book for every single agent that gets with me next week.
How special is that? That's awesome.
I just want to do that. I appreciate you, buddy. I'm going to go to a birthday dinner.
Happy birthday.
Girl.
Thank you,
Did
guys.
we get the singer happy birthday yet? Did we do that?
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
Here we
go.
Hold on.
Why not do that? You got to do that before she goes.
My Mariah Carey earpiece in tonight.
That's awesome.
Alrighty. So can we do this on 3?
Yeah.
Oh, this is happening. Oh.
Okay.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
birthday to you.
All right. Don't have to it.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, dear
Chelsea.
Dear Chelsea.
Happy
birthday to you.
I love it.
You.
Oh,
We have our comments box blowing up too. Happy birthdays. You're awesome.
that's great. You
And
guys
this
are
is
so
the
awesome.
First, y'all, this is a special moment here on YPX. We've never had all 4 of our guests on the screen, or all of us on the screen at one time, singing happy birthday. This is such a big moment. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you,
That's
Chelsea.
awesome.
We had
Thank
an
you,
awesome
guys.
you. We'll talk to you soon. Hello,
Right.
sir. How
Hey,
you doing?
guys.
Everybody, we have
Good.
John Israel visiting us live on YPX After Hours, aka Mr. Thank You, elevating a life of gratitude on a planet by 1%, one card at a time. We've got a treat for you guys. John, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on today.
No, thanks for joining us. You know, the world of guest booking is fun, and it pays off when we get to bring on somebody as influential and kind of pushing the envelope like you do. So, where did this all start? This pushing the envelope in this direction that not many people have gone.
Yeah, the envelope. Good pun with thank you cards, right? By the way, pushing the envelope. That's I never used that yet. Might have to steal that. Yeah. So the whole precipice of the project. So for those of you who don't know anything about Mr. Thank You or me or whatever, so it started as a personal social experiment where for an entire year, I made a commitment to handwrite 5 thank you cards every single day for 365 consecutive days. And there were some rules to it. The cards had to be handwritten. I every day reset at 0, so I couldn't write 35 cards on Sunday. I could write a max of 3 cards per any one person. And the last rule was really interesting: is for any and every day that I missed, I would donate $1,000 to charity. And so there was really kind of a lot at stake every single day for this year. And I had to be really intentional about looking for people to appreciate and being grateful on a consistent basis. Doesn't mean it was a perfect year. Lots of challenges, if not almost more challenges that year, because I had to balance the time of, this hour-and-a-half commitment that I made every day, plus being a husband, a father, a business owner. So it's a really challenging year, but that's what I did. And started October of 2016. And I went for 365 consecutive days. So it totaled out at 1,825 letters of appreciation in 1 year's time. And that has expanded. So we've actually become more of it's a global movement now where our mission is to inspire 74 million thank you cards written around the world. So that's where that 1% idea came from. That's effectively 1% of the world's population. And it's great. So I get to speak on I didn't. And by the way, that wasn't the plan. That was, I was just a guy who was looking for having more purpose with his work. And it just really morphed into this thing that, got picked up on the news. And then I was offered a TED Talk, and then I got to write a book about it. And then it's really become the cornerstone piece of a lot of the work that I do. And we've actually converted some of it. You guys probably don't know this, but to CE certified credit for real estate agents in the state of Texas. So I think one of our guys, Lance Donahoe with Inspect 360, is getting that organized with MetroTex to be able to have that available for everybody. So it's evolved, man. And that's how it started. I was a guy with an idea, and then it just blew up to this whole thing that I wasn't expecting. So it's been a really cool gift.
What were you doing at the? Sorry, go ahead, Chasten.
Oh no, I think you're probably gonna ask the same question that I was. But like, what was going on in your life, or like, what moment did you have to make you even want to do this? Like, were you down and out and you didn't have any business, or were you just feeling like people were sad around you? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, so there's kind of a couple of things that kind of merged at the same time. So at the time, and this is how Chelsea and I know each other. So I worked for the Cutco company for extremely long time. So I was at the time, I was the Cutco closing gift guy for the Central Coast of California. So basically, I was a gratitude salesman. And at that time in my life, I was working on mission statements, vision statements, and we came out with this idea that me and my team, we were about elevating gratitude on the planet. But there was this big problem, and the problem comes in this quote that I heard. And it's one of those quotes that when you hear it, you don't get to unhear it. And it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he says, excuse me, I cannot hear what you are saying because who you are speaks so loudly. Mm. And for me, it was like, how can I be this guy who says he's all about elevating gratitude on the planet, but I don't embody it in my life? Because you could go out and ask 100 people who know John Israel, what do you know about, and ask him, what do you know about him? And they might say some nice stuff like he's driven, he's successful, but they probably wouldn't use the word grateful. So how can that be? So I need to find a way to make gratitude a habit in my life so that I can be consistent with this business vision, that we created for our company. And so that was kind of like the precipice that had me start thinking of like, well, what's a habit that I could put in place that would actually legitimately affect my level of gratitude? And thank you cards were something like, I'm big on habits. I love to find, reading the Miracle Morning book, having like daily routines. I love that kind of stuff. So I really wanted something that I could do every day, no matter what. I travel a lot. So even if I'm traveling, right, I can still do this one activity every day. And for me, I'm big on coaching, and I had a coach at the time, and I told him, I was like, hey, I think I have this idea for writing all these cards for a year. And he said, well, what's the accountability? What's the structure to this? And that he helped me create the rules. And it just created this really interesting year that was, completely life-changing, completely transformed my business, had huge impacts there, major impacts with my family at home. And it's still in existence today. Like it's now actually become a business, which is pretty cool.
Wow. So there's obviously, there's a lot to this. But let's start with where it's taken you and some of your daily routines that are now what they were not before when you were at Cutco. So you are now an author. You travel as a speaker, which 2020 is kind of a little bit different.
This is the traveling I'm doing to speak right now. So virtually still works really great.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty cool. So fun fact, I've actually been able to speak at more places around the country and even internationally because of the current times. Like I spoke to a huge, branch of a Coldwell Banker in Southern California, like 250 agents recently in kind of an obscure area. I probably wouldn't fly out there to travel to speak, but because it was online Zoom, we actually could do that. So it's been a really cool opportunity. And I think inside of that, you were trying to ask me a question. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, like, what's your day-to-day like since all this has taken place? Do you have a team that works with you? Are you counseling specifically? Like,
yeah, so there's a few things. So my main profession, so I do professional business coaching. So that's like actually become my main business model. As far as like really with Mr. Thank You, because we've expanded, we basically evolved from just, working with Cutco to really expanding to support other businesses. And what we've really discovered, and this was kind of like the lesson from that business, was so much of my business got better because I was intentional about how I built relationships. So the thing you have to realize is when you make a habit of writing 5 cards every day, this wasn't just like the, hey, 2 sentences, thanks for the thing you did for me, right? And this is like if I was going to teach something, right? A framework that I like to share with people is that there is a difference of recognition and acknowledgement. Okay. Recognition is saying to somebody, hey, thank you for what you did. Mm-hmm. Acknowledgement is saying, thank you for who you are. And there's a much deeper look you need to have about people in order to really get that, right? So an example of a story I share is I was out in Philadelphia during the Mr. Thank You project, and we go out to this restaurant. I'm with a bunch of entrepreneurial guys. We have this great evening. We go to a restaurant. It's 30 of us. We just take over this restaurant. We had no reservation, and there's one waitress working, and her name was Shantae. Great woman, but you could tell she was kind of upset when we showed up because it was like a slow night, and we just brought 30 dudes. So we were going to keep her there all night. And there was a moment when she was serving us where you could tell she kind of flipped a switch, and she went from being like annoyed to being like, hey, you know what? I can hate this or I can love this. Let's make this great. So she goes on and serves us, does everything. She is the one waitress who takes care of 30 guys, gets all of our drinks, all of our food, just does fantastic work. And so I realized it's at the end of the night. I said, okay, she's my 5th card. She's my last card for the day. And the card that I wrote her was, to me, it was relatively simple, but it was something I had to sit and think about, right? And that's the whole thing with acknowledgement is you have to think through, what do I appreciate about this person? Now, keep in mind, I don't know her. We've never met. Aside from her serving us food, I don't know this person. And so the letter that came out was, dear Shantae, I just want to say thank you for an amazing evening. I'm here with an entrepreneurial group of men here to learn how to become better husbands to our wives and fathers to our children while we run our businesses. And tonight was all about fellowship, and you facilitated it masterfully. we came with no reservation. You could have turned us away and we would have understood. You could have even given us terrible service and we would have gotten it. But you didn't. You were great. You were gracious, and you helped make tonight amazing. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of myself and everybody in our group. And I write this note, and Shantae's in the corner. She's cashing in her tips for the night. I walk over and I hand it to her. She accepts it awkwardly, as most strangers do when I hand them a thank you card. And I go to the restroom real quick before we leave. And so I go to the bathroom and I come out, and Shantae is literally standing there waiting for me. And she just runs at me and gives me this huge hug and says, "That is the best tip that I've ever been given." And then she sets me down, this big hug. And we just looked at each other for like a moment. It might have been 10 seconds, but it felt like 5 minutes. And we just saw each other. And it wasn't this like customer server. It was just human being having a connection. And I left that restaurant and I was really confused, because she says, that was the best tip I've ever been given. And I was like, well, we actually gave you a massive tip, right? Like, think about that. Like 30 entrepreneurial men, high on life, just leaving a conference. Like, we gave her a massive tip. But she holds up this little thank you card and says, no, this is the best tip that I've ever been given. How is that? And what you would learn in that moment is when you get really intentional about acknowledging people, not just saying, hey, thanks for that thing you did, but really thinking through, like, who is this person and what are the challenges that they go through in order to do what they do, right? For those, this is really a lot of real estate agents watching this, right? So if you have a team that you're working with, or you have buyer's agents or listing agents, or you have title reps that you work with, it's really easy to take people for granted for all the work that they do. But when you take the time to think through, like, what did this person really do to get to them? And so the quote that comes along from this experience was that if we want to make better connections, it starts with curiosity. Because curiosity is the birthplace of appreciation, right? We have to be curious about, who is this person? What is their life like? What matters to them? What are the challenges they go through? And when you think about that, you actually develop empathy. And with empathy, we develop compassion, because we can actually start to see the world from other people's eyes. We start to be like, wow, now I get it, why they feel that way. Mm-hmm. And then with compassion, we literally have the ability to connect with anyone. And so that's why a lot of times now when I speak at real estate events, we title the message "Mastering the Art of Human Connection," because it became way more than just about like how to write a lot of cards, but how do you understand what humans really want and what matters to them, and how can we honor them? And for me, the vehicle just happened to be thank you cards, and there were so many lessons inside of that. So on a day-to-day now, like, that's the stuff that I teach people, because really, that assistant you have, or that title rep you have, or whoever, they're somebody's wife or husband or mother or sister, and they're a human being. And when we can stop looking at people from their roles and look at them at the deeper sense of who they really are, we have a deeper level of respect and trust. And honestly, with the craziness going on right now in the world, I mean, like, how valuable is that to be able to implement in our lives?
So from everything I've heard, it just sounds like the card is not where it ends, where it starts, but almost it's a product of this enlightened state of thinking, and looking at each other as humans. It's not all about the card, even though you are Mr. Thank You.
Yeah. I mean, it's a vehicle of expression.
Right.
You could do this in face-to-face. You can do this in a text message. You can do this in an email. And the whole point is that, are you taking the time to be that thoughtful about the people around you? And for the most
but that's also what's so special about a handwritten note or a card. There is something there that will, I can jump on board and say, I don't think that will ever be lost, even though that we've advanced in technology so much. To see something handwritten from one person to another, if you were, for instance, in real estate in our circles and saw what we are sold by service providers to realtors, there are services out there that marketing coaches and what have you, and they absolutely advocate for the handwritten note.
Yeah. What's interesting about that, and this isn't to knock any of them, right? Not
Mhm.
at all. I spoke to a group of realtors in a mastermind yesterday, and it was really interesting because and I won't name names because it's not even to talk bad. The fact that someone's writing a letter is better than writing none. But when you look at the what goes into it, and you've probably gotten some of these letters from someone in a program like that, right? And it's like you get the letter and it's like, hey, thank you so much for going out to coffee the other day. Let me know whenever you're ready to move forward with business, or have always
Mhm.
never too busy to work for your referrals. Like, it's so like it's not the card, like that's an easy card to throw away, right? Like, not to be
Correct.
offensive to people, but when you look at like, well, what's the intention? If the intention is to express gratitude, well, how grateful did you truly get
Yeah,
when
that's
you
one
wrote
thing.
that?
Yeah, that's one thing that's not exactly like what you're talking about. It's not genuine because you understand, there's an understanding with such a short letter. Okay, this is business.
Yeah,
What you're
and that's
doing
fine.
is not business related. I mean, it can be if someone chooses it that way, but what I'm understanding you say is, let's show some real empathy here, let God handle the rest, right? This could end up being something, but let's be better humans first, and then let the rest just kind of fall in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And and again, there's nothing wrong with the simplicity of writing a letter and a card. The fact that someone does it at all is great. But if the intention is relationship, like, here's the thing to keep in mind: nobody starts a relationship hoping it's going to end. Yet that happens every single day in business. Why
Mm,
is that? Because there becomes a moment where the client, the person, starts to feel like they're just a customer.
yeah.
And deeper than that, they're a person. So I challenge all the people who are watching to, when you write a letter, like, the simple advice I give is just go one layer deeper, right? Like, think about like the framework that I love to teach people about how to make really meaningful connections is called the VOW framework of human connection. So VOW is an acronym. So number one, I'm married. When you get married to somebody, you take a vow, right? A vow is basically a commitment to serve this other person.
Hmm.
So the acronym we put it as is V stands for values, meaning what does this person care about? O stands for outcomes. What are their goals? What are they trying to accomplish with their life? And then W stands for this. What are their struggles? What are their challenges? And so, an interesting thing, if you want to make better connections with people, and I learned this by writing a lot of cards to people because I wanted them to be meaningful. So the way that I actually wrote, I found the best cards I wrote had some essence of acknowledging what matters to this person and the challenges that they go through to do what they do, and also acknowledging what, like, maybe some of their bigger goals or aspirations that they have. And number one, do you even know those things about the people in your sphere, right? If I said take your top 5 relationships, how many of, and you wrote the letters VOW, values, outcomes, weakness, do you know the answers to each of those questions? Do you know what their highest values are, what they care about? Do you know the names of their children and their spouse? Do you know their biggest goals for this year, their biggest goals for their business or their life? And then weakness, do you know what they're challenged with or what they're struggling with? And if you don't know the answers to those questions, well, you now have a great structure for your next conversation. Because the more you know those things, you can actually serve them directly, relevantly with what their problems are, with what their goals are, and with what they care about, right? And you think about who you love spending time with, it's people who, some way, shape, or form, they fit that model, right? You share a common value. Well, you went to the same university. You love the same sports teams, right? Maybe you worked on toward a goal together. Who do you love the most in your business? Probably your referral partners, because they're helping you achieve your goals, right? And then who do you? And I'll end with this part, and then you can go to more questions. I'm big on Facebook. If we're not friends on Facebook, you can find me. Everything is at Mr. Thank You. But one of the really interesting things was I put a post on Facebook, and I just said, how do you know somebody is a good friend? The answers were really interesting because they all fit the same thread. And it all came down to how somebody else showed up during a moment of weakness.
Yeah.
How when my spouse was diagnosed with cancer, and how people showed up from the church, or how, when I lost my job and friends, were bringing food and helping out with the kids, right? Or when something happened, like, you know, I have some great real estate friends out in southern Texas, right? When the last hurricane came through and devastated certain areas, I talked to some realtors who were like, it was terrible, but we've never been more connected as a community. Right. And I say that because right now, especially, you know, a lot of people are kind of afraid of what to do and how to interact with their clients and what to say. Well, just reach out and say, how are you doing? How are you holding up? What do you need? And then if you can help them, provide that level of help. Because when we look at who we value as relationships the highest, it's people who service in those three areas. We connect with our similar values, they help us achieve a goal, and or they support us through our weaknesses or challenges.
This is good stuff. Yeah. So you got something, Chasten?
Oh, yeah, of course. You know, since you do speak around and you've helped so many people, I know that there's probably some type of tactic or homework assignment or some challenge that you normally give to people. Can you give that to us, or what are the steps, or what are those tactical
things? Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it really simple. So here's what I recommend. Now, I did what I did not to inspire people to do what I did. Like, I don't think you need to go out and write 5 thank you cards every day for a year, because truthfully, it was hard. Like, it was really extremely difficult. Like, it's just like, it was a time commitment, right? An hour and a half a day is how long it took me on average. That's kind of like training for a marathon or training for a triathlon. So it's just like a time commitment. So doing that every day for a year was a challenge. So what I learned is that I think I probably could have had the same impact if I had done 3 cards a day. And you don't even necessarily need to do it for an entire year. So I recommend people do something for 30 days. So we have a 30-day challenge that we created. So if you go to, and I don't know if someone's typing or anything into the chat box, but mrthankyou.com/30. Okay. So mrthankyou.com/ and the numbers 30. You can go there, put in your email. We'll give you a 30-day challenge, and it's got a couple of examples. Like, it actually shows you, like, here's some letters that I've written. So you can see frameworks of, like, what did I say? I also give different types of letters that I've written. And then also it's kind of got some brainstorming for yourself of, like, who you might want to write your cards to. Because a big thing that I did was I before I started, I mean, I made a huge list of who I knew I wanted to write a letter to at some point throughout the year. And that was like a list of 350 people. So that kind of gave me some ammo. And I think that it's a really good starting place for people, is you don't, like, I did what I did, not so you would do it, but so that people might see it and be like, wow, that's freaking crazy. I wouldn't do that, but I might do 1 card a day. Maybe I'll do it for 30 days, something like that. So I think that 30 days, you can get a really good essence and feel for how this can impact your life. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Go download yourself a 30-day challenge, and that'll probably help you get started.
Awesome.
Amazing. So, so John, you know, in this world of meeting and doing live shows and virtual, we focus so much on our background. And in your background, I see a lot of pinned up notes. Why don't you tell me about some of those? What you got going on in your background?
Sure. Yeah. And I don't know how much you guys can see that, but I'll do a little pano. So this right here, this is my. So that's my backdrop. That's my gratitude wall. So, you know, when you write 1,825 thank you cards to people, you do get some back. And when you also happen to be the guy who speaks on gratitude, you know, around the country, you do periodically get some thank you cards. So for me, you know, this is when I come back to my office, Mr. Thank You headquarters, and I, you know, walk in my office and I see this wall. It just kind of reminds me of the work that we do, and not because, and this is what's important, it's not because of what I get out of it anymore. Like, if you read the book, right? So the Mr. Thank You Project, you can get it on Amazon. I think that YPN actually bought a few copies for people, but I think Chelsea said she's going to give a copy out for anyone who sits down with her. So definitely shout out to Cutco Chelsea. I wrote everything that I needed to get, I got, and I put it in this book, right? Beyond that, everything else is a complete gift for other people to experience this. And so this is why I do it, right? So the other day I spoke at a national, well, actually several months ago, spoke at a national mortgage conference in Arizona. And I spoke to, I mean, these are all like more like how sexy is mortgage banking, right? So it's about, you know, they're all, well, by the way, some of you guys listening are probably in mortgage. So this isn't anything against mortgage.
Okay.
Mortgage brokers. They know it's not sexy. They know it's not.
But you can think it's like, who's the common demographic? I mean, at least in this room, it was like a lot of like kind of older men. That's not that's not everybody. I know plenty of females in mortgage and of different ages, but I remember, and this was the thing, it was a guy who came up to me after the keynote, because I let everybody write a letter to somebody during my speeches, and I say, find who in your life do you know that at this point you need to do some acknowledgement and some appreciation for. And this is what I do it for. And there's a guy after the speech who came up to me. He's like in his 50s, and he's just like bawling. And he says, this is a card that I wrote to my 12-year-old son, and my ex-wife hasn't let me see him in 10 years. And there's a lot of things that I've been wanting to say to this kid, and I've been wanting to be a part of his life, but my ex-wife just won't let me do it. And I don't know how, but I'm going to get him this card. And I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. You know, and it goes in line when people say, well, you know, what was your biggest takeaway from this whole year? Like this whole project? What were your biggest things that you came away with? And it comes down to, there's this great book called the 5 Regrets of the Dying. And it's about this woman who was a hospice nurse, and she sat with people while they died and just heard their biggest regrets of things that they wish they didn't do or wish that they had done differently. And a couple of the regrets were, I wish I was more open with my feelings about people who I really cared about. And also, I wished I had apologized to people that I had wronged and forgiven people who had wronged me. And so when people get to say, like, what did you get out of this year? Like, that's what I got. Like, I got to have those conversations with people. I wrote them, and sometimes it was a letter, sometimes it was a phone call, sometimes it was an email or a text message. But it was life-changing to be able to take the time to do that, because we all think like we have all this time in the world. And here's the last thing I'll say, which was I get a call from my best friend, Nick, and he was the best man at my wedding. Love this guy. He calls me 2 months into the project, and he says, hey man, hate to tell you this, my dad just died, which was awful news. I hated to hear that. What made it worse was I had actually written Nick's dad a thank you card, and I hadn't sent it yet. It was literally sitting on my desk while Nick was telling me the news. So why do this thing? Why do the 30-day challenge? Why take the time out of your day to do that? Because you don't know when that day is for you or anybody else in your sphere. And the impact that it can have on people is profound, but it also can create for you this sense of peace that you got to say what you needed to say. And if that's what I get to leave people with, whether it helps you sell more houses or whatever it is in your industry, or in general feel more fulfilled and happy for what you do, then damn, dude, this is a pretty fun job. So I'll stop myself there.
That right there, that was the one that did it for me. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Big thank you.
To handle tomorrow.
Yeah. You have turned us into like hosts. We're just like, I got to keep remembering. I'm like, okay, got to be on, got to be. But yeah, our third co-host, if you could read, is Skylar McKinley, and she has been following. Skylar and I work together. She is my protege. She is a big part of what I do, and yes, she's bawling right now. So yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing. What do you say? I'm sure you got to see the lightning round, John.
Let's do it.
We're gonna haze you. And will you come back? Will you come back next season?
What was that?
Will you come back next season? I think it's gonna be next summer that we do this again. This is what we call a good. This is a good time right here. This is a good guest. You're providing lots of value, and our prayer is that next year you are actually back and traveling. I know that you want to be at home with your children. You're here in town, aren't you?
I'm in Plano. Yeah, I'm not too far from you guys at all. So yeah, we're good.
Did you grow up here or no?
No, I grew up in Southern California, and it's funny because I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and at this point, 4 out of the 5 kids of my family live in Texas. So most of them are in Austin, and then I got a sister in White Rock, and then myself, my wife and I moved out here about 4 years ago.
Wow.
So
Why
that's
North
kind of a
Texas?
crazy part. So we moved here mid Mr. Thank You project. Like literally, I started October 10th of 2016. We closed our house like 2 weeks later, and we moved in November. And we also had a baby October 22nd. So it was crazy. But we're glad we're here. We're happy to be in Plano.
Why North Texas? We get a lot of people moving here, and I
Yeah.
always ask the question.
Well, and it was so there's a couple reasons for me at that time. It was like business expansion, and so I had for my business with Cutco Closing Gifts, I had kind of hit the parameters. I couldn't grow any further in my territory of California. Dallas was big. I knew Chelsea Banks very well, and so we had a good cooperative relationship. And I just said, hey, if I move out there, can we make this work? And she's like, yeah, Dallas DFW is huge. So that was originally why we moved out here, was business expansion. Also, we were having our second child. We have a lot of family out here, so we want to be closer to family. And the third was real estate investment. So that is kind of our future of wealth creation. So I have a good heart with realtors. I love so much what you guys do in the real estate business beyond just, helping people buy homes, because you can develop a lot of wealth, and there's just so much to the industry. So those are the three reasons that we looked at. It was either it came to Dallas, Cleveland, Ohio, or New Jersey. And we just had a lot more pull to Texas. So we came out here.
Wow. Well, welcome. Happy you're here, man. Skylar, she graduated from Plano Senior. So Skylar throwing a what. Let's get it. Chaston. We got John Israel, Mr. Thank You people. Drum roll. Brr. All right. John, if you could buy any type of food right now, what would you buy?
Any type of food? I would buy dessert. I just got done with dinner, so I would go with dessert, 100%.
What kind of dessert would it be?
I'm a fan of like warm and cold, so I love like the warm brownie, and then or the warm apple pie, and then the ice cream on top. That's it.
We're on the same page. We're on the same page. Okay, wait. Cake or pie?
If I had to pick, pie. I go with pie.
If you could be any animal, what would it be?
You know what? I like the eagle, because we see the hawks flying around in the sky sometimes, and I'm like, dude, these guys have like no predators. Like they're just like, they're the predator. They're up in the air, they're flying. They got a great view every day. Like that's their job. So I value good views. So I would go with the eagle.
What is one of the things you would put on your bucket list?
My bucket list. Oh, yeah. I really want to go to Iceland and see the Northern Lights. I'd love to do that. I have some friends who've done it, so they love it. So,
wow. Who is your mentor?
Who's my mentor?
Yes.
Well, all right. So I'm going to go a little different route. So I've never met him, but it was Jim Rohn. You guys know who Jim Rohn is. So he was such a powerful influence in my life. So Jim Rohn was the guy that Tony Robbins worked for when he got his start in the personal development industry. So we actually, I loved his work so much. We named our second child Rohn, Rohn. So that's actually the name of our second child.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Excellent. So what is your favorite summer activity?
Splash pads, hands down. Splash pads, love it with the kids. We have 3 kids now. So we have a 6-year-old as of yesterday, 6-year-old, 3.5-year-old, and 11-month-old. And my wife is pregnant with our 4th, by the way. Crazy.
Congrats.
So anytime we can get in the cold water, it's a good day.
For sure. You got a boy or a girl on the way? Or is it
a girl. So we had 2 boys. We had a girl, the 3rd, and then we're having another girl. So we're going to even it out. Even it out for sure. Absolutely. Big family. I'd have to estimate that you have a 5-bedroom home now. If not, sure don't. We don't. Yeah, we're in Plano. We'll probably we keep going up to Prosper and looking at houses out there, because we want to get some land and a little bit bigger house. So yeah.
I live in Prosper.
There you go. All right. So right off of Preston, I can't think of the cross streets, but it's like something trail. I don't know if it's Prosper Trail, something there. But.
It is Prosper Trails.
All right.
It is Prosper Trails. Yes. Your favorite cartoon character growing up?
For sure, Michelangelo Ninja Turtles, because he had nunchucks, which were legit, and he rode a skateboard. Fun fact about me: I was a semi-professional skateboarder through high school and college, and so skateboarding was really like my life for a long time. So
nice. Okay, Pearl Jam or Nirvana?
Nirvana for sure. Yeah,
good to know. I'd ask that when you threw out the skateboard, and I'm like, all right, let's see if he was grunge. Let's see if he was grunge or not. All right, last question. We're gonna switch this one up to Taylor. Taylor Swift is, finish the question.
She is an empowered young woman, and you know, I'll enjoy her music. Not going to buy the album. I'm not going to have that paper trail, but if her music is on, I'll enjoy it. That's what I'll say.
Not the paper trail. Okay, I love it. God, you're like a cool person. Like, you're like really cool. And Skylar's been blowing up in the comments here. Like, you are a really cool person. Wow.
Thanks, Skylar, can you jump on? Are your tears dry? I mean, John Israel, everybody. Mr. Thank you.
We appreciate you for being here. That wasn't my official thank you card, but I'm gonna put some thought into it, and I'm gonna make sure that you get it. But we do appreciate you for being here.
Thanks a lot, guys. And then can I give everyone my social handles and how to get in touch with me afterwards?
Yeah, let's make sure we can get in contact with you.
For sure, yeah. So if you have, if you want to stay in touch for anything, whether it be like speaking opportunities, or if you're interested in taking some of our CE classes, because we have converted some of this content about client loyalty, client retention into CE certified Trek stuff, just shoot an email to I'll send it to admin@mrthankyou.com. So admin@mrthankyou.com. And if you want to just also explore, if you want to make gratitude a habit, if you go to mrthankyou.com, I don't know if you guys saw this yet, but we really built that to be the platform that we actually track all the gratitude that people spread from after hearing this message. Not that it's about me, but it's about giving people an opportunity to make their own gratitude habit. So you can actually go there, create a free profile, and if you write a card to somebody, you put in their name and their zip code, we'll actually give you your own personal counter, and we'll track all the gratitude that you spread, and you'll see a gratitude map pop up, and it shows where all your cards are going around the world. So it's super duper cool. And we really built that. There's no cost to it. We basically do that in order to give people the platform, because I wish I did that. I had an Excel spreadsheet that I was like trying to keep track of people. But if you do want to start your own habit like this, and we can support you with that, go to mrthankyou.com, and then and definitely opt in, because we have thank you cards that just came out. So those are actually going for purchase right now. So definitely opt into our email, and then we'll let you know price on cards, but they're not too bad. They're like $1 a card or something like that. So that's it.
So cool. Amazing.
Thank
John,
you so much.
You have a great rest of your 2020. Hopefully we can talk outside of this platform. Looking forward to watching your success. Prayers to you and the Israel family.
Thank you.
All health to you guys for 2020, my friend.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on here. And
that always happens. Like, I feel like somebody's saying something, but
Justin brought it was Matt Bowman. Oh, there she is.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
I'm a hot mess. I've been running around properties with no AC, so welcome. But
I love it.
Today's episode killed my heart. No joke. I'm over here holding my dog, eating pizza, holding my pillow, thinking of all the people I want to tell I love you and how much I appreciate you too.
Yes. And I feel like this is a great time for us to tell everyone how much we appreciate you all for tuning in week after week and supporting us here at YPN and sharing our YPX after hours. Thank you to Dustin behind the scenes. Thank you to Elizabeth behind the scenes. This isn't an easy task, but it was so much fun, and I'm so glad we all got to experience it all together.
I want to thank Bill Head
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because when this idea of YPX After Hours, which Chasten coined the term, for me it was the idea came up as just a talk show that we needed. The first person that I picked up the phone and called was Bill Head. Bill, he put some things in motion. He asked some questions. Next thing you know, we've got Dustin on our team. Is it Ballin? I'm pretty sure it's Ballin. And I don't think it's Balloon, even though it looks close to that, right? That's why I'm saying Ballin. Dustin, you can jump on too, my friend. This is the last show. Come on,
Our
bro.
little tech ninja.
Is it Ballin, right?
It's Balloon.
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 Like if you're
French.
saying balloon with a French accent.
Oui.
Balloon.
Yeah.
Balloon.
Oui.
Yeah. Balloon.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Amazing producer.
Sure. I do have something for y'all. Hold on 1 second.
Ooh, here we go.
Oh, what's up?
I don't understand. What's happening?
You did okay. Skylar may have been like 4 years old when that took place.
Oh no, I thought that was like legit Kanye about to talk to us right now. I'm trying to act as like natural as possible. Like, what's up, Kanye? Oh my
I'll let
god.
y'all explain that one.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah. So that was funny because that was the 2004, 2005 Kanye coming right out and saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. And Mike Myers was like, so, yes.
But yeah,
Skylar, you can watch the video later. It's very awkward. We got to think of Elizabeth Harris.
she has a new last name now. Wait a minute. Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
We
yeah,
gotta,
married Elizabeth Marshall.
Oh,
Marshall.
Geez, I didn't even realize. Okay, yeah, that took place. Okay, yes.
You're in.
Congratulations. Our board of directors has been supporting us. We've had, boy, if I could remember the stats, we had like a great amount of clicks, a great amount of views. All of our guests, Candace Evans, Natalie Woods, who helped christen us on our very first show with Out on Homes. All of our guests, everyone who's joined and watched us, YPNers, you know you're in our hearts. And all the North Texas professionals, look, we did this to provide some smiles for you because we know that 2020 is a son of a gun, and this is for smiles. This was nothing more than smiles. So we hope that we've given you some, and we're signing off.
Well, he's having a moment. He's full on having a moment. Yes, and you can watch replays of all of the episodes if you just go to mymetrotex.com/YPX. There is replays of the whole season, and we'll definitely
almost the whole season.
Yeah. But we're excited to come back next season, and hopefully we'll all see you soon.
Stay safe.
Goodbye.